There comes a moment in life when something inside us begins to question everything, not with anger, not with drama, more like a quiet whisper that asks, "Is this it?" And one of the areas where that whisper grows louder is in our relationships. After years of sharing your life with someone, you might look your partner in the eyes and no longer quite recognize the woman you once were, or the bond you once built together. It's not that love has disappeared, but maybe the connection has turned automatic, predictable, almost like a routine you've performed 1,000 times. And that's when a deeper longing appears, for something more conscious, something more present, something that's not just about sharing a house and a to-do list. Let's be honest, how many times have we confused stability with disconnection? We were told that mature love is calm, that we don't need butterflies or long talks or constant touching, that respect, companionship and habit were enough, and yes, those things do matter. But what happens when habit becomes a wall, when routine replaces curiosity? When we stop asking how the other person really feels because we think we already know, that's when the relationship starts to fall asleep. And not because of a lack of love, but because of a lack of awareness. A conscious relationship isn't perfect. It's not intense 24/7 or full of grand gestures. It's something else. It's the ability to see each other without the filters of the day-to-day, to pause even for 5 minutes, and really look at the other person with fresh eyes, and to show up ourselves from a different place. Because often what's missing isn't passion or attraction or desire. What's missing is presence, and that's not something you can fake or buy. It's something you build, something you choose. During menopause, many women go through a profound transformation, not just physically, but emotionally and on a soul level. We start to reevaluate everything, what we want, what we can no longer put up with, what we've been dreaming about in silence. And sometimes that reevaluation includes the relationship, not because we want to break it, but because we want to reconnect from a more real place. Yes, desire might feel different now, our bodies respond in new ways, and the urgency of the early days may have faded, but that doesn't mean the connection is doomed to become dull. Quite the opposite. Sometimes that's exactly when something new begins. Something that isn't based on roles, appearances, or just repeating what used to work, but, on listening, really listening, on touching with intention, on talking not just about what needs fixing, but about what frightens us, what moves us, what we long for. And yes, at first it might feel uncomfortable because, we have to take off the armor. We let go of the excuses of being too busy and the shield of daily responsibilities. But it also brings us closer to a more authentic version of ourselves. A more conscious relationship doesn't need dramatic changes. You don't have to move house, go on a big trip, or reinvent your lives. Sometimes it's as simple as asking your partner, genuinely, "How are you today?" and really listening to the answer, not while doing something else, not just waiting for your turn to speak, listening as if it were the first time. And also sharing your own truth, what you've discovered about yourself lately, because honestly, in this stage of life, many women are rediscovering themselves, setting boundaries, saying what they never said before, exploring their bodies in a different way. And if you've got a partner, that journey can be shared too. But for that to happen, we've got to be brave enough to stir the waters a little, not with surprise trips or hotel nights, but with something much more radical honesty. Because connection doesn't get switched on with scented candles, it comes alive with words spoken from the heart, with comfortable silences, with glances that don't look away, with hugs that don't need a reason. Sometimes the first step towards a more conscious relationship isn't doing something together, it's stopping the autopilot. It's sitting at the table and not just talking about the usual stuff. It's sharing a bed without assuming your partner knows how you felt today. It's touching each other without the pressure of it leading to sex. It's simply being, with attention, with presence, with the willingness to choose each other again, not because you should, but because there's still something there worth nurturing. When you choose again with awareness, you're no longer acting out of duty or inertia. You're choosing from a much deeper place, a place without masks or unrealistic expectations. Just two people who have changed, who have lived, who may be a little worn down, but who still feel it's worth looking at each other again. Not like before, but like now, with the wrinkles, with the silences, with the scars. Because true intimacy isn't knowing each other by heart. It's daring to rediscover each other. And here's something hardly anyone says, yet many of us feel sometimes it's harder to show our vulnerability now than when we were younger. Because after a life spent being strong, holding things together, caring, solving, asking for tenderness can feel like a luxury, as if it no longer belonged to us, as if sensuality, affection, or playfulness were from another stage. But no, they still belong to us. We still need them. Yes, the body may change, but the soul still craves the same touch, laughter, connection, and also pause. Because when a woman begins to truly listen to herself, she also starts noticing parts of her that had been asleep. And waking up those parts doesn't have to be a solo journey. The curious thing is, often our partners are also waiting for that shift. They too feel that something has been lost, but they don't always know how to name it or where to begin. That's why, when one of us dares to take the first step, to speak from the heart, it can open a door that's been there all along, just waiting to be pushed. And yes, there may not be an instant response. There may be awkwardness, discomfort, even fear. But there might also be desire. The desire to rebuild something more real, more present, more aligned with who we are today. Because a conscious relationship isn't about going back to how it was. It's not about reviving the passion of the past or reclaiming the body of before. It's about making room for what can be now, for a slower, more attentive, more honest intimacy, where there's nothing to prove, no debts to settle, no standards to meet, just being, feeling, asking without assuming, answering without defenses. At this stage in life, we no longer have time to keep postponing what truly matters, and that includes love, not the romanticized love of the movies, the real kind, the one that's built through details. In the, I made you tea because I know you're not feeling great today. In the, I sat beside you in silence because I can feel you're going through something. In the, I don't know how to help, but I'm here. Those gestures that don't make it to social media but that hold us, heal us, reconnect us. And yes, for there to be connection, we also need the courage to talk about the uncomfortable things, the things that have faded, the wounds never spoken of, the emptiness we're ashamed to admit, because what isn't said becomes distance, and the more time passes, the harder it becomes to build bridges. But when we dare, even clumsily, to speak from a desire to make things better, something shifts. Something begins to change. And sometimes that change also means recognizing that not everything can be fixed, that maybe the relationship has run its course, and that too is part of a deeper awareness, knowing when to stay but also when to let go, because staying out of habit is not the same as staying out of love. And a woman who is rediscovering herself can no longer pretend everything's fine if it isn't. But if there's still a flicker of desire, however small, if there's still tenderness hidden beneath the routines, if there are still glances that seek each other even in silence, then it's worth trying. Not out of nostalgia, but because of the present, because of the real possibility of transforming the relationship, of letting it grow, of letting it breathe again. A more conscious relationship isn't a destination, it's a practice, a new habit built through small daily gestures, like not assuming, like asking, like slowing down, like looking at your partner with curiosity as if you didn't fully know them, because deep down you don't, because they're changing just like you, because they too have fears, desires, wounds, because they too need to feel seen, valued, chosen. And when that happens, when two people allow themselves to meet again with new eyes, something magical occurs. Not fairy tale magic, but real magic. The kind that makes you feel alive again. The kind that reminds you that even after everything, there's still so much to share, so much to feel, so much to create together. So if today you feel your relationship is stuck, don't take it as a sign that everything is lost. It might be the opposite. It might be the sign that something new is trying to be born, something more authentic, more yours, more conscious. And that, believe me, can be more powerful than any fleeting passion. Because when connection replaces routine, love doesn't become less intense, it becomes deeper. And at this stage in life, that's what truly matters.